Hi, welcome to another episode of PSLE Science Made Simple. I'm Daniel, and I'm a PSLE Science specialist here in the Pique Lab. In this video, we'll be analyzing a past year examination question on the topic of magnets. I've also prepared this question for you to download for free by clicking a link in the description box below. So, let's get started. Let us now take a look at this question over here. Jamal prepared the following 4 setups A, B, C, D. He wanted to find out if the number of batteries will affect the magnetism of the electromagnet. Now, whenever we see these 3 words to find out, can you tell me what of the experiment are they telling you? They are telling you the aim of the experiment. And the question is asking us, which 2 setups should he use to ensure a fair test? In order to ensure a fair test, how many change variables can there be? There can only be 1 change variable. Now, how do we determine what is the change variable? In order to know what's the change variable, we need to go back to the aim of the experiment. From the aim of the experiment, we can know 2 kinds of variable, the change as well as the measured variable. Some of you may have difficulty identifying what is the change and measured variable. In order to know what is the change and measured variable, firstly, I will want you to box up the word if and affect. Secondly, let's highlight all the words between if and affect and highlight all the words after affect. The final step is to identify what is the change and measured variable. From the aim of the experiment, we can see that the number of batteries is the one that affects the magnetism of the electromagnet. Thus, the number of batteries is the change variable. And the magnetism of the electromagnet is the measured variable. CV and MV stands for change and measured variable respectively. As a rule of thumb, normally, the one before the word affect is the change variable, and the one after the word affect is the measured variable. Also, if you ever encounter a question that asks you to state the aim of the experiment, how should you phrase your answer? The template to answer this kind of question is to find out if or how the change variable affects the measured variable. Before we look at the options below, let us now write at the bottom that the change variable is the number of batteries. Now, let's take a look at the 4 options below. Option 1 asks us to use setups A and B. What is the difference between setups A and B? You can see that the number of batteries is different between the 2 setups. Setup A has only 1 battery in the circuit, while setup B has 2 batteries in the circuit. However, is that the only difference between both setups? No, the type of rod is also different. Setup A is using an aluminum rod, while setup B is using an iron rod. Thus, how many change variables are there between these 2 setups? There are a total of 2 change variables. Hence, is this a fair test? No. In order to ensure a fair test, we need to ensure that there is only 1 change variable. Therefore, we cannot select option 1 as our answer, and I'm going to put a cross beside option 1. Next, option 2 asks us to compare setup B and C. Can you tell me what is the difference between setups B and C? The difference is the type of rod used. Setup B is using an iron rod, while setup C is using a steel rod. Thus, how many change variables are there? There is only 1 change variable. However, is this the change variable that we are testing? No. What is supposed to be the change variable in our experiment? The change variable is supposed to be the number of batteries and not the type of rod. Thus, we cannot choose option 2 as our answer, as this is the wrong change variable. Moving on, option 3 states that we should compare setup C and D. Can you tell me what's the difference between setup C and D? The difference between these two setups is the number of batteries. You can see that there are 2 batteries in the circuit for setup C, while there's only 1 battery in the circuit of setup D. Is there any other difference between the 2 setups? No. Thus, there's only 1 change variable. And is this the correct change variable that we want? Yes. Therefore, let's put a tick beside option 3. Finally, option 4 states that we should compare setups A and D. What is the difference between these 2 setups? The difference is the type of rod used. Setup A is using an aluminum rod, while setup D is using a steel rod. Is this the change variable that we are testing? No. Remember, what is supposed to be the change variable in our experiment? The change variable is supposed to be the number of batteries. Hence, are we able to select option 4 as our answer? No, because once again, this is the wrong change variable. And I'm going to put a cross beside option 4. Thus, the correct answer for this question is option number 3. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you found this video useful, do give us a thumbs up. If you'd like to check out more videos by us, do click on the link on the right hand side. Last but not least, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye!